During the frontier days, the lines between lawmen and outlaws often blurred. People frequently switched sides, and it wasn't uncommon for outlaws to become bounty hunters or even sheriffs. Communities sometimes appointed them because they believed it takes one to know one. While a few honest sheriffs may have worn the symbolic white hats, most didn't make it into the history books because they didn't last long. Those who are remembered often operated in gray areas of morality, dealing with outlaws in ways that weren't always entirely legal themselves. Here are 10 such lawmen.
Frank M. Canton. Frank Canton, originally known as Josiah Horner, found himself incarcerated in 1877 for his involvement in a bank robbery in Comanche, Texas. Escaping shortly after, he sought anonymity as a cattle herder, eventually making his way to Nebraska. Determined to start afresh, he adopted the alias Frank M. Canton and secured a position guarding cattle for a powerful group of Wyoming cattlemen known for their dubious practices. This marked the beginning of his career under a new identity. In 1882, Canton transitioned into law enforcement, winning election as sheriff of Johnson County, Wyoming. His tenure coincided with the turbulent Johnson County War, during which he aligned himself with Frank Wolcott's regulators. One of the most infamous incidents involved his role in the siege at the Casey Ranch in April 1892. Nate Champion and Nick Ray, wrongly accused of cattle rustling, sought refuge there. Despite Champion being a former acquaintance, Canton ordered the house set ablaze following a prolonged gun battle. Tragically, Champion perished in the ensuing chaos. Following this controversial episode, Canton departed Johnson County and relocated to Oklahoma, where he assumed the role of Deputy U.S. Marshal. His reputation for swift justice continued, culminating in the fatal encounter with fugitive Bill Dunn in 1896. Seeking new opportunities, Canton ventured to Alaska in 1897 amid the gold rush fervor. However, he returned to Oklahoma the following year, resuming his career in law enforcement. Jim Courtwright, gunman. Timothy Isaiah. Long hair Jim Courtwright was renowned for his distinctive long hair and exceptional skills as a gunman. He even performed with Buffalo Bill's Wild West show at one point in his life. Courtwright was a contentious figure, becoming the first elected marshal of Fort Worth, Texas. Additionally, he was involved in running protection rackets in local saloons and gambling houses, with rumors suggesting that he eliminated several business owners who refused his protection services. Courtwright's fervor for his duties sometimes led to excess. For example, while tasked with apprehending cattle rustlers, he ended up targeting both rustlers and homesteaders, demonstrating a tendency to overreach in his enforcement efforts. His complex and often controversial actions contributed to his mixed reputation in the community. In 1887, Courtwright's life came to an end in a duel with Luke Short, a saloon owner and former friend. The conflict arose when Short rejected Courtwright's offer of protection, telling him to go to hell. This led to a confrontation in the middle of the street, one of the rare face-to-face gunfights in the history of the Wild West. Both men drew their pistols simultaneously. Short fired first, injuring Courtwright's thumb. Courtwright attempted to switch his gun to his uninjured hand, but Short took the opportunity to fire again, hitting Courtwright in the chest. Courtwright's career illustrates the turbulent and often morally ambiguous nature of law enforcement in the Old West. His tenure as marshal and his involvement in protection rackets highlight the blurred lines between lawmen and outlaws during this period. The rumors of his extreme measures against business owners who resisted his protection rackets add to the complexity of his character, portraying him as a figure who operated both within and outside the bounds of the law. The duel with Luke Short marks a significant event in the lore of the Wild West, exemplifying the era's violent and unpredictable nature. Courtwright's downfall in this duel underscores the personal and professional conflicts that often characterized the lives of frontier lawmen. His story, with its blend of showmanship, controversy, and ultimate tragedy, provides a vivid snapshot of the complexities faced by those who sought to impose order in the tumultuous environment of the Old West. John Hicks Adams. John Hicks Adams was a genuine 49er. In 1849, he left his home in Illinois and headed to California as soon as he heard about the gold rush. After spending 2 years there, he moved with his family to Santa Clara County, where they settled on a farm. In 1863, Adams was elected sheriff and played a key role in the pursuit and capture of Tiburcio Vasquez, a notorious bandit and horse thief. Adams' fascination with gold never faded, and he is credited with being the first to explore Lake Tahoe. In 1878, while prospecting for gold in Arizona, Adams met an untimely end. The suspects fled to Mexico and were never brought to trial. However, an unidentified posse later caught up with them, ending their flight. Adams's journey from a gold prospector to a respected lawman and explorer highlights the adventurous and multifaceted lives led by many during the gold rush era. His initial venture to California was driven by the widespread hope of striking it rich, a common motivation that lured thousands westward. His move to Santa Clara County and subsequent election as sheriff reflects his transition from prospector to a settled community member with a significant role in maintaining law and order. Capturing Tiburcio Vasquez was a notable achievement, showcasing his dedication and effectiveness as a law enforcement officer. Adams' continued interest in gold exploration, including his pioneering exploration of Lake Tahoe, illustrates his enduring spirit of adventure and discovery. His death, while prospecting in Arizona, signifies the persistent risks faced by those who sought fortune in the untamed territories of the American West. The inability to bring his suspected assailants to justice underscores the challenges of law enforcement in the expansive and often lawless regions of the time. The eventual fate of the suspects, though extrajudicial, reflects the harsh realities and frontier justice prevalent in that era. Henry Newton Brown. Henry Newton Brown exemplified the transformation from outlaw to lawman. He once rode with Billy the Kid and was involved in an ambush that resulted in the death of a sheriff in New Mexico in 1878. Following this incident, Brown disappeared for a period before resurfacing in Texas, where he briefly served as a deputy sheriff. Eventually, he became a ranch hand and later moved to Kansas, where he resumed work in law enforcement. To supplement his income, Brown began tracking outlaws for their bounties, though he occasionally strayed from the path of lawfulness. In April 1884, Brown, along with 3 accomplices, entered the Medicine Lodge Bank shortly after it opened. They robbed the bank and, in the process, injured several employees. Although they initially escaped, they were quickly surrounded by local authorities. The community was stunned to learn that the well-known lawman was behind the robbery, leading to widespread calls for his execution. Brown was scheduled to be hanged the next morning, but the impatient mob took matters into their own hands. They broke into the jail, overpowered the guards, and opened Brown's cell. True to his nature, Brown made a desperate attempt to flee, but was ultimately stopped. Brown's life reflects the duality and moral ambiguity often present in the Old West. His early association with Billy the Kid and involvement in a sheriff's murder highlight his turbulent and lawless beginnings. His subsequent roles as a deputy sheriff and bounty hunter demonstrate his attempts to rehabilitate his image and contribute to law enforcement. However, Brown's participation in the Medicine Lodge bank robbery underscores the persistent conflict between his lawful duties and unlawful inclinations. The robbery and its aftermath reveal the volatile nature of justice during this period, where public sentiment could swiftly turn to vigilantism. The mob's intervention, bypassing formal judicial processes, illustrates the precariousness of law and order in frontier towns. Brown's story, ending in his unsuccessful escape attempt, serves as a poignant reminder of the complexities and contradictions faced by individuals navigating the blurred lines between lawlessness and enforcement in the American West. John Barclay Armstrong. John Barclay Armstrong relocated to Austin, Texas in 1871. He joined the Texas Rangers in 1875 and participated in the Las Cuevas War. Armstrong was part of Captain Leander McNelly's Special Forces, a unit known for its aggressive approach, operating under a shoot now, ask questions later policy. One of Armstrong's notable achievements was the apprehension of John Wesley Hardin, a notorious outlaw infamous for his violent actions, including allegedly killing a man for snoring too loudly. Hardin was also wanted for the murder of Deputy Sheriff Charles Webb. At the time of this pursuit, Armstrong was recovering from a gunshot wound and relied on a cane for mobility. Despite this, he volunteered to track down Hardin. Armstrong and his team received information about Hardin's location and set off in pursuit. They tracked Hardin to a train in Florida. As the train approached a station, Armstrong, appearing as an unassuming man with a cane, boarded the coach. Hardin, not recognizing Armstrong as a threat due to his cane, failed to reach for the gun placed above him in the luggage rack. Armstrong seized this opportunity, switching his cane to his left hand and drawing his gun with his right. He then confronted Hardin and 4 members of his gang. A member of Hardin's gang attempted to resist, but Armstrong quickly subdued the situation, incapacitating the gang member and effectively neutralizing the threat posed by Hardin and his associates. Armstrong's quick thinking and strategic approach led to Hardin's capture, showcasing his resourcefulness and bravery. Armstrong's career with the Texas Rangers is a testament to the complexities and challenges faced by law enforcement during the late 19th century. His participation in the Las Cuevas War reflects the broader conflicts and law enforcement strategies of the time. The capture of John Wesley Hardin highlights Armstrong's dedication to justice and his ability to leverage both his physical condition and strategic acumen to overcome obstacles. Armstrong's legacy within the Texas Rangers exemplifies the qualities of determination and ingenuity essential for maintaining law and order in the often chaotic environment of the American West. Heck Thomas. Henry Andrew Thomas, commonly known as Heck, captured some of the most infamous outlaws of the Wild West, including members of the Dalton Gang and the Doolin Gang. He began his career early, serving as a courier in the Civil War in Virginia at just 12 years old. By the age of 17, he had joined the police force in Atlanta, quickly gaining a reputation as a fearless officer. In 1875, Thomas relocated to Texas. By 1878, he was tasked with protecting the railroads when the Sam Bass Gang attempted a train robbery. Although injured during the incident, Thomas's quick thinking prevented the gang from stealing anything valuable. He cleverly moved the valuables to an unlit stove and filled the safe with decoy parcels, ensuring the gang left empty-handed. Thomas's career continued to be marked by significant achievements. In 1896, he led a posse to track down the Doolin Gang, known for robbing trains and banks in Kansas. The posse managed to capture the gang's leader, Bill Doolin, after a lengthy pursuit, culminating in Doolin's capture when he attempted to escape. Over his career, Heck Thomas was responsible for apprehending more than 300 wanted men. Notably, he once managed to capture 41 prisoners in a single operation. Despite being wounded at least 6 times throughout his numerous encounters, Thomas survived to retire from the force, reflecting the resilience and determination that defined his career. Thomas's life and work highlight the complexities of law enforcement during the turbulent period of the Wild West. Starting from a young age, his early experiences in the Civil War likely shaped his resolve and resourcefulness. His clever tactics during the attempted train robbery and his relentless pursuit of the Doolin gang demonstrate his strategic mind and commitment to justice. His ability to capture such a large number of outlaws speaks to his effectiveness as a lawman and his dedication to maintaining order. Despite the physical dangers he faced, Thomas's longevity and successful retirement underscore the respect and admiration he garnered throughout his career. His legacy is a testament to the challenging and often dangerous work of frontier lawmen, whose efforts helped shape the law and order of the American West. John Hughes, Lawman. In May 1886, John Reynolds Hughes, pictured seated on the right above, embarked on a mission to uncover who had stolen horses from his ranch and those of his neighbors. He diligently tracked the thieves for nearly a year, finally locating them in New Mexico. Hughes managed to recover the stolen horses and return them to his neighbors. This remarkable feat caught the attention of the Texas Rangers, who persuaded him to join their ranks. Hughes served with distinction as a Texas Ranger for 28 years. In 1893, following the death of his captain at the hands of bandits, Hughes was appointed as his successor. His first action as captain was to lead a team of Rangers in a comprehensive search along the border to bring those responsible for his captain's death to justice. Hughes's dedication and methodical approach to tracking down the horse thieves highlight his tenacity and commitment to justice. His ability to recover the stolen horses not only restored his neighbor's property, but also established his reputation as a skilled tracker and lawman. The Texas Rangers recognized these qualities, leading to his recruitment into their esteemed ranks. As a Texas Ranger, Hughes was known for his long and distinguished career. His promotion to captain in 1893 was a testament to his leadership abilities and the respect he commanded among his peers. His efforts to apprehend those responsible for his captain's death demonstrated his loyalty and sense of duty. Hughes's career with the Texas Rangers reflects the complexities and challenges of law enforcement in the late 19th and early 20th centuries. His story exemplifies the perseverance and resourcefulness required to uphold the law in the often chaotic and lawless environment of the American frontier. Hughes's legacy as a Texas Ranger endures, underscoring his significant contributions to maintaining order and justice in the region. William D. Allison. Dave Allison became sheriff of Midland, Texas in 1888 at just 27 years old. He held this position until 1903, after which he joined the Arizona Rangers. While in Arizona, Allison gained notoriety for shooting and killing a criminal named Three-Fingered Jack in a dramatic shootout. However, Allison's most famous achievement was leading the posse that captured and killed the Mexican revolutionary-turned-outlaw Pascual Orozco in 1915. His reputation as a formidable gunman earned him the title of the most noted gunman in Texas. Despite his professional accomplishments, Allison was also known for his serious gambling problem. Allegations of misappropriating funds plagued his career. Whenever these accusations arose, he quickly relocated to a new town, continuing his work as a lawman. This pattern suggests that references were not rigorously checked for such positions, allowing him to maintain his career despite the controversies. Allison's life came to a tragic end when he, along with a colleague, was murdered by two cattle thieves they were set to testify against. The ambush occurred while they were unarmed, sitting in the lobby of a hotel. The gunmen burst in and shot them, cutting Allison's tumultuous and storied career short. While celebrated for his gunfighting skills and high-profile captures, his gambling addiction and accusations of financial misconduct painted a less flattering picture. The mobility of his career underscores the informal nature of law enforcement at the time, where a tarnished reputation could be easily left behind with a change of location. His violent death, ambushed by the very criminals he pursued, highlights the constant danger faced by lawmen in the frontier days. Harry Wheeler. Harry C. Wheeler held various positions before becoming the sheriff of Cochise County, Arizona. Notably, in 1907, he protected striking miners from thugs hired by their employers, earning a reputation as a friend of labor and gaining significant popularity in the community. However, his stance on labor issues drastically shifted a decade later when, as sheriff, he took a hardline approach against striking miners. In a dramatic turn of events, Wheeler deputized and armed 2,000 men, organizing a pre-dawn operation to arrest the striking miners. Overseeing the operation with a machine gun, Wheeler's forces arrested 1,185 miners, loaded them onto cattle trucks, and transported them into the New Mexico desert, where they were abandoned. This harsh action led to Wheeler and 224 of his deputies being indicted on kidnapping charges, although these charges were eventually dropped. One of Wheeler's most remarkable encounters involved a violent confrontation with J.A. Tracy, a man who had been stalking an ex-girlfriend. Tracy had threatened to kill the woman and her new husband, prompting Wheeler to intervene. During the attempted arrest, Tracy fired at Wheeler, narrowly missing him. The two exchanged gunfire, resulting in Wheeler being shot in the thigh and Tracy receiving 4 gunshot wounds. Tracy feigned surrender by pretending his gun was empty, then fired 2 more shots at Wheeler, hitting him once in the foot. Running out of bullets, Wheeler resorted to throwing rocks at Tracy until the latter succumbed to his injuries. Surprisingly, Tracy was not arrested on the spot. Instead, the 2 men shook hands before Wheeler put him on a train to Tucson. Tracy, wanted for murder in Nevada, died from his injuries during the train journey. Wheeler collected a $500 reward for capturing Tracy, but chose to donate the money to the widow of one of Tracy's victims. This episode reflects the complex and often contradictory nature of Wheeler's career. Wheeler's encounter with Tracy highlights the perilous and unpredictable life of a frontier sheriff, where justice was often meted out in the heat of the moment, and personal honor sometimes trumped the law. Bill Tilghman. Bill Tilghman was born in Iowa, but relocated to Kansas during his youth. Early on, he became a hunter, boasting that he had killed 12,000 bison over 5 years. This claim, however, deeply angered the local Native American tribes, as the bison were a crucial food source for them. In September 1872, Tilghman reportedly killed 7 Cheyenne warriors during a confrontation. This violent episode was just one of several run-ins with the law that marked his life. In 1874, Tilghman narrowly avoided being lynched after he was accused of murdering a man in Grenada, Colorado. The charge was serious, reflecting the violent and tumultuous nature of the frontier justice system at the time. Despite this, he managed to evade severe punishment and continued his endeavors in the West. By 1875, Tilghman had established a saloon in Dodge City, Kansas. Dodge City was notorious for its lawlessness, and in 1878, he was appointed the town's deputy sheriff. In this role, Tillman gained a reputation for capturing more outlaws and collecting more rewards than any other lawman of his era. However, his career was not without controversy. Tillman faced numerous accusations of corruption, including allegations of selling whiskey to Native Americans, which was illegal at the time. He was also arrested multiple times for operating a brothel and enabling gambling. These activities painted a complex picture of a man who was both a law enforcer and a participant in the very vices he was supposed to curb. Despite his controversial career, Tillman's life came to a dramatic end on November 1st, 1924. He was shot while attempting to arrest a corrupt prohibition officer. His death marked the conclusion of a career that straddled the line between lawfulness and lawlessness, reflecting the chaotic and often contradictory nature of the American frontier. Tillman's legacy remains a testament to the blurred lines and moral ambiguities of the Old West.
Please like and share if you find the video content interesting and useful. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel and comment below so as not to miss the upcoming interesting videos. Thanks for watching.